So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. And in today's video, we have the Sacramento Kings. I would not say last season in Sacramento was anything necessarily too special. Now, they did end up winning 46 games, which all things considered is not a terrible year when you take a look at the grand scheme of the franchise. Now, obviously, just 2 seasons ago, they finally broke that playoff-less streak, if you will. Returned to the playoffs, did lose to the Warriors in round 1, but last season, it just didn't really seem the same. This was a team that did end up making the play-in, of course, did not get out of the play-in and completely missed the playoffs as a whole. So this offseason, they did address some of their issues, though. The biggest and by far the most important move, obviously being the addition of Mr. DeMar DeRozan. Now, by no means is DeMar still in his prime, but I do think he's going to be a very big piece for this team. On top of that, they are also able to bring back Malik Monk. So I'm not saying this Kings team is a true contender in a loaded West, but they are definitely in a better position than they were just a year ago. We'll talk about this full Kings team in just a second, but before we do, as always, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. Slowly but surely, finalizing all 30 regular rebuilds. I think we are just over halfway through, so excited to get through all 30 teams before the NBA does actually tip off. So I've been enjoying these so far. Seems like you guys have been as well. As always, thanks for all the support. It has been fantastic. So Kings fans, I know there's not a lot of positives throughout the history of your franchise, so we'll try to bring you 1 or 2 today and get you a championship. Let's get into it. Now, I want to start this video by saying I honestly think De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are one of the more underrated duos in all of basketball. When we think about the Sacramento Kings, of course, those are 2 of the leaders of this team and really the star players that have been with this team for quite some time now. Now, that being said, I do think some of the surrounding pieces with this Kings team have definitely been an issue. I was never a fan of Harrison Barnes in the year 2024, being a starting small forward on a team that is at least trying to compete. So there is some work to do. Obviously, Barnes now departed to the San Antonio Spurs with DeMar DeRozan here, but I still think there is a little bit of cleanup we got to do with the rest of this core. So let's go ahead and talk about this roster. Of course, we just mentioned his name, De'Aaron Fox, who I still consider one of the more underrated players in all of basketball. Listed at an 88 overall, 26 years old, 2 years remaining on the deal. I saw he was maybe a little hesitant to sign a contract extension this offseason. I'm sure that is something that will be approached relatively cautiously as the years do go on. But, you know, in my opinion, he's the face of this franchise right now, and he's going to have to be the guy that really leads this team to the promised land. Backup point guard spot is interesting. They brought in Jordan McLaughlin on a 1-year deal, and while he's not a terrible backup point guard option, I think we can do better. So I don't mean to just take a shot at Mr. Jordan McLaughlin here, but just being honest with you guys. Now, they did draft Devin Carter out of Providence. I think he's going to be a really impactful piece for this team one day. It is not going to be in his first season. I believe he's actually out the entirety of the 24-25 campaign. But of course, here in 2K, we don't play with injuries on. This is not a realistic rebuild, so none of that is going to matter. But I loved him quite a bit at Providence. Fantastic rebounding guard for his size. Can obviously play a little bit of defense as well. We head to the shooting guard spot. Many people assumed Malik Monk was going to depart Sacramento, get a bigger payday somewhere else, because he has earned it. He's pretty much always been in the 6th man of the year conversation. Obviously a very important piece for this team. And yeah, they brought him back on a deal that I thought was a little, underpaid, if I'm being quite honest with you. Now, Keon Ellis had an absolutely fantastic second season last year. The numbers may not show it immediately, but his jump, his improvement, obviously the shooting is there. I think he's a guy that's really going to be a nice piece for us here today. Kevin Huerter. So there's a lot of depth at this shooting guard spot. I wouldn't say there's any stars at our 2 guard right now, but it's something we can address at some point in time. That's not even mentioning 22-year-old Colby Jones. So definitely have a lot of options there at the 2 guard spot, and that's something we will figure out as the video goes on. Now, the small forward spot. I don't want to, take shots at Harrison Barnes continually, but he was not a reliable backup starting small forward option for this team for several years now. And, you can talk about Harrison Barnes' championship experience all you want, but, we're pretty much a decade past that at this point, and Harrison Barnes is very much out of his prime. So I'm very much aware DeMar DeRozan's 35, and he's certainly not the player he used to be. I still think DeMar DeRozan's really good, but he is a clear-cut upgrade here over Harrison Barnes. So I'm excited to see what DeMar can do here with this team. He was actually one of the only, big names that switched teams this offseason. I mean, there was a few, but DeMar was definitely one of the bigger ones. The power forward spot, Keegan Murray. I need to see his game continue to take strides. Now, the numbers on paper are fantastic. Of course, 6'8", can shoot the basketball, space the floor. All those things are great. I think there can be a little bit more impact to his game than what you see here on the stat sheet. So I'd like the rebounding numbers to go up a little bit. Of course, the points per game for, 4th, 5th option, whatever you want to consider him on this team, are really, really good. So I like Keegan Murray. He does tend to progress well here in 2K, but we will keep an eye on our 24-year-old power forward. Trey Lyles and Jalen McDaniels. Anybody remember that video, Jalen McDaniels getting told by a fan live, in person, that he was getting traded from Toronto? That was pretty funny. Trey Lyles is not a terrible backup option. 28 years old, 75 overall. He's an expiring contract, so it's certainly something we will keep an eye on before we do kick off year one. And then Domantas Sabonis, again, one of the more underrated players in all of basketball. Basically averages a double-double consistently. It's like every single night I feel like this guy is basically putting up 20 and 10 minimum. So I'm excited to see how can Sabonis kind of impact the game in this team today, because he is, probably second, maybe even the first best player on this team. So like Sabonis quite a bit. And then the backup center spot is obviously something we will have to address. No disrespect to Alex Len or Orlando Robinson, but neither of these fine gentlemen are going to be my backup center heading into year one. So yeah, that's the team. Of course, it's not the best of the best in the West. I mean, I think there is a lot of moving pieces with this team and a lot of things that are yet to be figured out, but that is our goal today. Let's get into some moves. This deal here with the Utah Jazz is going to land us a little bit of an upgrade at our backup center spot. Of course, we talked a little bit about Jordan McLaughlin, Alex Len, both expiring contracts. Both could have been, I guess, lower end rotation pieces for me, but I have options at the point guard spot. I'm playing Devin Carter, even though he's probably not playing in real life. And then Alex Len was, probably always on his way out. So Drew Eubanks and Svi Mikhailuk here going to be the two pieces we pick up. Not only is Drew Eubanks a nice little upgrade, they are both also on multi-year contracts. So I'm excited about that first trade. We do give up a second-round pick. Definitely not the end of the world. Trey Lyles and Orlando Robinson are being sent to the Charlotte Hornets for Grant Williams and Seth Curry. Now, Grant Williams has obviously turned into a bit of a meme in the NBA today. He signed with the Dallas Mavericks a couple off seasons ago, got about halfway through the season, and then they decided they could not take him any longer. So he was shipped off to Charlotte. Of course, that brought them back. PJ Washington was a very key piece in their finals run, but Grant Williams is, maybe, I don't want to say different player than what he was with the Celtics, especially at the end of his Celtics tenure, but I think that contract is now looked at as one that's maybe not so great. But here in 2K, in an unrealistic rebuild, it is going to be a trade asset and a nice option at our backup power forward spot. So welcome to the team, Grant. I guess excited to have you here. Let's set the rotation. 2 trades down, and year one is officially here. We are ready to go. Kick things off in Sacramento. Here's a look at the starting 5. It is De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. I don't know if there's any surprises in there for you. I am going to start Malik Monk. He has, very much earned a starting position with this group, and he's clearly our highest overall shooting guard. The bench unit will be led by Keon Ellis. He's my backup 2 guard. I actually moved Kevin Huerter to the small forward spot. Guy's 6'7", also jumped up 2 overalls, and I needed a backup 3 anyways. So Kevin Huerter going to be playing the backup 3 behind DeMar. You got Grant Williams, who we freshly acquired from the Charlotte Hornets, Devin Carter, who is going to play some backup point guard, and then Drew Eubanks, who we acquired as a new backup center. And of course, this is all under head coach Mike Brown, who I think is a very, very good head coach. So this is the team. Again, not up there with Dallas or Oklahoma City or Denver or Minnesota, but maybe we can be in that like 5 to 7 spot. I think that would be a really successful first season. So I will see you guys at the end of year one. I would say our first regular season was a pretty big success given the standards and expectations this team had. It sees us finish with a record of 51-31, assuming that's good enough for top 5 spot here in a very good West. We'll find out in just a sec. It is a 33-point triple-double for Luka Doncic. Let me guess. Riza Shea, Wembanyama? No. Oh, no. Excuse me. We're getting ahead of myself. That was 6th man of the year. Wembanyama, Cade Cunningham, Steph Curry, Jason Kidd. 67-15. All right. Let's go over the standings real quick. We are actually the 3 seed. Maybe we are in some of these conversations with the best of the best here in the Western Conference. And where are the Nuggets? Did they fall off? Oh my God, 35-40. Ugh. Just the idea of a team winning 35 games and potentially being able to still clinch a playoff spot is so just disgusting to me. And here's a look at the East. Let's go over the stats real quick for all of our guys. Points per game led by De'Aaron Fox. DeMar DeRozan actually ended up becoming our number 2 option. Malik Monk was actually our 3rd option. Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, Grant Williams, Devin Carter, Keon Ellis, and Drew Eubanks. I thought Ellis would actually be a little bit higher because yeah, 6 man. Rebounds led by Sabonis. Assists, you guessed it, also Domantas Sabonis. The guy who's damn near 7 feet tall, averaging almost 9 assists a game. That's got to be a very limited company, like Sabonis and Jokic, probably it. Okay, round 1, it is us and the Golden State Warriors. Of course, remember 2 seasons ago, that first round series went 7 games. Steph Curry ripped the heart out of Sacramento Kings fans on their home floor in Game 7. Here's a look at the Warriors now. Steph, Buddy Hield, Wiggins, Kuminga, TJD, got Pajemski, DeAnthony Melton, Marvin Bagley. So it looks like they've moved on from Draymond. Not exactly sure. Who did they trade Draymond for? What did they trade Draymond for? Marvin Bagley? And Rashawn. Oh, good Lord. Okay, let's sim through round 1. Quick 1-0 lead for us. Make that 2-0. Make that 3-0. They do win Game 4. No. 2K. tell. I can legitimately tell when it's about to happen. Yeah, it's sad. I don't know if it's sad, but like I can tell when blown 3-0 leads are about to come. Just, yeah, it's embarrassing. Okay, that's obviously a disappointing ending to, what was, I would consider an overall pretty promising first season. I need a little bit more out of Fox, need a little bit more out of Sabonis in the points per game department. No disrespect to Malik Monk, but if he's your leading scorer through a 7-game series, probably not going to end up being too great. So, yeah, that's about as embarrassing as it gets to wrap up a first season. So, sim through the rest of the playoffs, it is Luka and the Mavs against Paul George, winning conference finals MVP in the 76ers. Mavericks sweep. Luka, your finals MVP. Anybody surprised? Dallas always wins it in year one. Okay, it is time for the offseason. LeBron James, Chris Paul, Al Horford, Eric Gordon, Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, Uncle Jeff. Oh my God. A lot of names, man. It's my childhood. Okay, Hall of Fame. Wait, what? That's... I didn't even notice this one. Steph Curry as well. Holy shit. Okay, draft lottery. I don't think the Kings have traded for any potential lottery picks. Of course, we're not going to be in the lottery, but let's sim through it real quick. Blazers, Jazz, Rockets, Spurs, and Hornets. Okay, staff signing. Any coach who blows a 3-0 lead, I think should have their seat heat up a little bit. Now, I think Mike Brown is a good head coach. I'm not going to fire him right now, but if we have another really good regular season, especially after the moves we are likely to make this offseason, and we don't have any playoff success once again, that seat may become scorching. Okay, let's head up to the draft. Let's just see what we're working with here. In terms of our first round pick, we actually do not have it. I'm not sure who has it. I actually am just curious. I'm trying to think of like big Kings trades that could have potentially involved a first round pick. I'm sure it would have to be maybe a few years back, but I'm just kind of spitballing right now. I hope I didn't miss it. I am just curious. I'm just trying to seek this out. Anybody? Hello? It is the Atlanta Hawks. Was this the Kevin Huerter trade? Potentially? I don't know. I'm going to assume that the game's accurate. So we have one late second round pick, that being at number 27. I'm going to pass upon using it this year, and thank you very much, Philadelphia. So I'm not going to be drafting anybody. Let's head up to team player options. Murray and Ellis both are going to be brought back on their rookie scale. 4th year, 3rd year for Ellis, 4th year for Murray. Okay, it is free agency. We don't really have anybody, which is, of course, pretty good news. I don't really love letting my guys hit unrestricted free agency when I can just go ahead and re-sign them myself. So this is the position we're in. I do think there is 1 or 2 trades I want to make. I'm not going to blow up this team or anything. Something else we definitely have to consider is the fact that DeMar DeRozan is going to be entering his age 36 season. We all know how 2K works with regression, but we'll give him at least 1 more season. So we definitely do have a trade coming, though. We're going to talk to the New Orleans Pelicans and see if there's a way we can maybe land Herb Jones. Ultimately, there was nothing wrong with the way Malik Monk played throughout last regular season. He was actually really good, considering I expected him to be our 4th or 5th option. But I think this starting 5 needs a little bit more defense. When you look at this 1 through 5 on paper, I think defense is maybe lacking a little bit. Herb Jones, obviously, a premier defensive player in this league. So I actually can't include like even a Colby Jones. The money does not work. So it is probably going to have to be draft picks at this point. And as much as I love Mr. Herb Jones, I do not want to get absolutely shelled in this deal and give up way too much. Fuck. All right, I'll give up a 3rd first, but that's going to be it. Yep, I knew it. It's an overpay. Fully understand it. As much as a big Herb Jones fan I am, and you all know that, this is probably an overpay, which is now going to slide Malik Monk to our bench unit and potentially make Keon Ellis, who will be a free agent next season, maybe a little bit more expendable, because if I had to pick between Monk and Ellis, it's going to be Monk pretty much 10 times out of 10. So let's see what some potential offers are. Of course, we are now looking for maybe a new backup power forward after moving on from Grant Williams, and potentially even a new backup center, because that was never going to be a long-term solution. So just curious, what are the possibilities here? Again, thinking 4, thinking 5. Jalen Smith, honestly don't hate it just because it's a multi-year deal, still relatively young. See Peyton Pritchard, Nick Richards, except he is expiring, but I do get a draft pick as well. Okay, we have some decent options here. Ooh, Noah Clowney. Does he have team control? He should have another year. Yeah, he does. Wait, that's a player option. No, that's a team option. Okay, Noah Clowney actually might be my answer. I know he's not the highest overall I'm being offered, but on top of the fact that he's still relatively young, we are also getting a draft pick in the deal, and of course, we did just give up significant draft. Am I getting a draft pick here? Oh, actually, I'm getting one for Jalen Smith as well. All right, I didn't see that originally. We'll take this. I know Clowney would have been fine, but as long as I'm getting a first-round pick in return, because I did end up giving up 3 of them for Herb Jones here. So again, probably slight overpay, not the end of the world. And then Colby Jones also could be a guy who's potentially on his way out. Just never going to really crack this rotation, and I think I'd prefer the draft pick at this point if there is one being offered, and thank you very much, Miami. So now we are basically in the market for a backup power forward. I guess we could just bring back an old friend here and Trey Lyles, or maybe we'll go with a 24-year-old here, a little bit more potential in Trendon Watford. He'll sign. All right, cool. That's awesome. I think that it completes our 10-man rotation. Let me just double check real quick, see what we got going on here. And yes, it does. I will see you guys at the start of year 2. We all knew it was coming, but unfortunately, we are seeing a little bit of regression with DeMar DeRozan. He drops 4 overalls, now an 84 after being an 88 in the offseason. I'm not necessarily, surprised, maybe a little disappointed. It's not like he played like shit last season, but yeah, that's just, wow, he was 44% from 3. I don't even know. I mean, I'm just saying, considering where DeMar's, former shooting numbers were, especially in the San Antonio days, 44% from beyond the arc is, pretty much insane. But obviously added Herb Jones as well to pair up with De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt. Probably, 2 of the stronger defensive options we do have at this point. Keegan Murray, who, surprised, that overall just really isn't moving at all, which is, shocking for a guy who's, 24, 25 years old. And then Sabonis still locking down that center spot. Bench unit will now be led by Malik Monk, of course, really solid 6-man option. He is a guy that I think is maybe a little bit better suited coming off the bench, leading that second unit, but he is an elite player either which way. Of course, adding Jalen Smith to this team as well. Kevin Huerter remains the backup 3. Devin Carter progressing quite nicely, and then newly acquired Trendon Watford. So, yeah, that's the team. I think we're better than we were last season. Maybe we lost a little bit of back-end depth, but I'm not terribly worried about it. I will see you guys at the end of year 2. A 5-game improvement sees us wrap up year 2 with a record of 56-26. I am assuming we are a top 3 seed in the West once again, and hopefully going to have a little bit more playoff success. Speaking of again, Luka Doncic, second straight MVP. Cooper Flagg enters, is drafted by the Utah Jazz, wins Rookie of the Years. Dylan Harper, your 6th man. Wemby, another DPOY. Dyson Daniels, most improved. SGA, Clutch Player of the Year, and 68-14 there in Dallas. Yeah, they're going to be a pain in the ass. Okay, we actually end up as the 2 seed, so at least we won't have to see the Mavericks, hypothetically, of course, till the Western Conference Finals, and we will be facing a play-in team. Here's a look at, I guess dreadful would be the right word, dreadful Eastern Conference. Okay, here are the numbers. De'Aaron Fox was incredible for us. I love it. Absolutely fantastic season out of him. DeMar DeRozan still going strong at age 36. Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, Malik Monk off the bench. Smith, Huerter, Watford. Wow, Herb Jones has not really been scoring the ball, but again, he's filling his role defensively, and that's all I guess I can really ask for, because there is a lot of offense with this 1 through 5, so I'll live with it. Sabonis leads us in boards and assists as well. Okay, it is going to be us and the New Orleans Pelicans here in round 1. This is a team that has definitely made some improvements, including, 32-year-old Andre Drummond, DeJounte Murray, obviously. This is an interesting team. I am excited to see what ends up happening here. Did they bring back Valanciunas as well? Am I seeing that? Wow, they did. I think Valanciunas is probably coming off the bench. Okay. We're tied up at 2-2. Not exactly the biggest boost to confidence, but we do end up going to Game 7, and we win that Game 7. Thank God. We have finally gotten out of the first round, and it is not getting any easier because we know how much this game loves Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Of course, Julius Randle now here as well, paired up with Rudy Gobert. DiVincenzo coming off the bench. So this is not a walk in the park by any means, even though we are the higher seed. Now we're up 3-0. What? I mean, come on. 2K. Thank you. Okay, it is West Finals time. It is us in the 5-seed OKC Thunder. Surprised they're actually a 5-seed, but they kind of do us a favor, take down Dallas, because as good and as, scary as the Thunder are, I think I'd rather face them than Dallas. So here's a look at their team. Obviously, a lot of talent, a lot of depth, great coaching. I'm nervous. I'm not going to front. Okay, quick boy. 2-1 lead for us. 3-1 lead for us. Oh, my God. Wow. We end up beating them in 5. De'Aaron Fox, Western Conference Finals MVP, and Tyrese Halliburton, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. You all probably realize it without me even saying it. Of course, we all remember maybe one of the bigger win-win trades in recent NBA history, that being the Tyrese Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis trade between the Kings and the Pacers. I think both teams are pretty happy with the returns they have got. And now we are meeting up with the Pacers here in the NBA Finals. We split the first 2 on our home floor, lose Game 3. Fucking A. Okay, that's big. Now we can simcast, and if it's close, I can hop in. Not that I'm actually, good at this game, but just because why the hell not? All right, this looks like it's getting kind of close. Maybe we're running away a little bit here. And okay, we end up winning Game 6. After being down 3-1, we have forced a Game 7 back in Sacramento. Do not do all this work just to choke. Oh my God. We are absolutely blowing the doors off the Indiana Pacers, and there is 3.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and they have 68 fucking points. I'll see you in there. I did not see this as a championship team. I knew we were going to be good, obviously competitive, but my God, I would be lying to you if I said this team was going to not only win a championship, but have the capability of coming back from being down 3-1. So I'm obviously very excited right now. Big rebound and put back from Sabonis. We are just absolutely kicking the living shit out of Indiana right now. And yeah, if my team ever blew a 3-1 lead in the finals, I'm not really sure what I would do. It's just that would maybe kill me. Well, I mean, I guess when you think about the team that actually did it, the Golden State Warriors, I think they've probably been, able to get over it considering the last 10 plus years for that team. So, yeah, this team was good. I didn't think we were, great or anything like that. I thought there was another move this offseason. I think the thing I'm, most happy about is just DeMar DeRozan getting a ring. We consider DeMar DeRozan's history was always really, really good in the East when he was with Toronto, and they were always super competitive, but were just never able to get by LeBron, and then was traded, and then the Raptors won a ring. So I feel bad for DeMar. Of course, it would be nice to see him get one at some point in time. And let's see if we can just wrap this one up here. So, I mean, I guess talking about the Kings in real life right now, not about the team that we've constructed here in 2K, I do expect them to be back in the mix for, a playoff spot this season. I understand how good the West is, but everybody stays healthy, at least on paper. I think Sacramento is easily, top 6 or 7 team in the West. So I'm excited. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be great this season once again. Obviously, Sabonis, they are really, again, in my opinion, underrated 1-2 punch in this league. So I cannot hit fucking jump shots in this game. I absolutely despise the shot meter. I've learned, to get a little bit better at it, but why 2K is like insistent on changing the shot meter every 1 to 2 years, I don't know why. There are good shot meters historically in 2K. I've been playing this game. That's not what I meant to do. I have been playing this game for years, like legitimately since I was like 11 years old. I do not understand why they need to change something that most people don't complain about. Stupid is as stupid does. We're obviously winning this game. I want to end it with a bucket, so let's just see Sabonis. Can you give me a little screen here? I will dive down to the rim. De'Aaron Fox with the slam. This one is over. And just like that, a championship is official. We end up beating the Indiana Pacers in 7 games, and De'Aaron Fox is your finals MVP. Okay, this offseason, we are going to make a change because this is a rebuild. This is not, we're not sitting here to make everybody happy and feel well, and this is not what's going to happen. So we're going to make a trade. Some of you may hate it, but I do not feel nearly as bad anymore because we got tomorrow championship. If you couldn't figure out, that's who I was talking about. Mike Brown obviously staying on as our head coach. That seat is now cold. He is not on the hot seat, and we have the 15th overall pick via the Chicago Bulls. So just thinking positionally, I'm not really sure what we kind of really need right now. We don't really need anything, but Mikael Brown Jr. appears to be a highly rated prospect, and sure, why not? Maybe a trade piece. I don't know. So, yes, I am going to trade DeMar DeRozan. Mikael Brown Jr. is 75 overall because I'm thinking about this from a logic perspective, not an emotional perspective. And I would be, I guess it would be maybe a little bit of a harder decision to trade DeMar if we didn't just get that ring. But he has a ring now. He's only going to go down in the overall department. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, hanging on to him would be a smart decision. So, yes, we are going to trade DeMar, and we bring back, obviously Fox, Murray, and Herter. And I'll see you guys with that move. Let's see if the Pelicans are willing to make another trade with us. I'd love to have DeJounte Murray. This would just move Herb Jones to the 3. And yeah, DeJounte Murray's not going to regress. We did just draft Mikael Brown Jr., but ultimately I'm very happy with the way Devin Carter has performed so far, given his role. So Brown will just be a trade piece, and hopefully Atlanta does not absolutely bend me over, and they will just go ahead and take the draft picks that I'm offering them. Thank you very much. All right, there's not going to be many other major moves. I think there's an argument to maybe try to make a slight upgrade at our backup power forward spot. I mean, I'm fine with the way Trendon Watford kind of performed. I mean, he was basically the last guy in the rotation, but it would be idiotic not to at least look. Kenyon Martin Jr., I think I could just maybe find a trade. Watford, the last remaining first-round pick we have. Is there a power forward out there? Well, Wagner would be nice, but he's not a power forward. Just somebody who's like a 76, 77 overall. There's really nothing here. I could just bring back Trey Lyles. He'll probably regress, though. You know what? Fuck it. We'll make another change. Let's bring in Mo Wagner. And then what actually happens to Jalen Smith's overall if you move him to the power forward spot? It actually stays the same. So why not? Jalen Smith will now be our backup power forward. What is his three-point shot? I am just curious. It's actually an 85. Not too bad. I can live with that. I will see you guys at the start of the final regular season. It is year 3. We are looking to go back-to-back. Last season ended up winning the NBA Finals. Was not really expected, but we'll certainly take it. Now, this offseason, we did make a major move, and Although it is super rare after winning a championship that I don't want to say blow the team up, but, make a major swing in a big trade. We ended up doing it because we are thinking with our brains, not with our heart. It is Dejounte Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Dejounte Murray, Herb Jones now slides to the 3, Keegan Murray still in here. I mean, that overall just hasn't really moved at all throughout the 3 years in this video. Still got some bonus. Malik Monk will remain our 6-man, Devin Carter developing quite nicely. Jalen Smith now my backup 4. We brought in Mo Wagner and Kevin Huerter, who has, fallen in the rotation pretty significantly. Still my backup 3. So I am also just curious. We made the deal with the Pelicans. What is... That's not the right way. What is the overall right now of DeMar DeRozan? He is down to an 81. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy we ended up making the move that we did. So, I will see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Just a hilariously good final season here in Sacramento. We go 72-10, of course, tying the second best record in the history of basketball. I didn't think this was a 72-win team, but I'll take it. Luke, another MVP. AJ DeBan still went number 1 overall. Wins Rookie of the Year. Kadeem Malik, your 6th man. Wemby wins another depoy, I know. Big shocker. Tyler Kolk, most improved, now a member of the Clippers. Cade Cunningham, Clutch Player of the Year. And our guy, Mr. Mike Brown, leading us to 72 wins and the 1 seed. You see it right there. Here are the full standings. The Oklahoma City Thunder and Dallas Mavericks behind us at 2 and 3. And here's a look at the, laughably bad Eastern Conference. Okay, numbers. Fox, Murray, I forgot there are 2 Murrays with this team. Sabonis, Monk, Carter, Jones, Smith, Wagner, and then Huerter. Rebounds per game led by Sabonis, and assists was also Sabonis once again. All right, us in Utah here in round 1. They've added Cooper Flagg, as you're very much aware. Instead of playing 7-foot Lauri Markkanen at the 4, they actually have him coming off the bench as a 6-man. Stupid is as stupid does. We should be able to sweep. Thank you very much. Now the Timberwolves, again, another pain in the ass. Beat them last year. They brought back Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler would rather retire than go back to Minnesota. My God, those stories are so funny. Okay, quick 2-0 lead for us here. 3-0 lead, and we have yet to lose a playoff game. It is now us and the Dallas Mavericks in the West Finals. You can run, you can hide, but we couldn't avoid them the entire video. So, quick 1-0 lead for us, now up 2-0. We are just running them out of their own fucking building. They do go in game 4, but we win in 5. We are back in the NBA Finals. We are taking on Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We know this team. Jalen Tyson now in the starting lineup, but yeah, I think this is a beatable squad. So let's see what ends up happening here. Quick 2-0 lead for us. They do win game 3 and game 4. We go up 3-2. We close them out in 6. And Domantas Sabonis, your finals MVP. This was a successful rebuild. Maybe even a little bit more successful than I initially anticipated. So I'll take it. I understand Kings fans have probably not had the happiest, I guess last decade, 2 decades. 3 decades, whatever the hell you want to call it. But this one was fun, and I hope I brought you a little bit of joy. So, I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? No, I'm just kidding. Let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. If you guys are, not, 100% sure if I've done a team or not, just scroll through the rebuilds playlist. They are all on there. There is only one playlist for 2K25 so far, and I promise you we will be getting to some of the regular series I do, the challenges, because I do see you guys asking for them. We will do that very shortly. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.